There it is. Happy day 8. Can you believe it? Workshop day 8. You guys are my workshop warriors, and I love you for it. We have Lisa, we have Greg, we have some people that are joining with us live, and that'll be trickling in. We have a lot of people that are catching the replays in the Facebook group, in the email list. And however you're joining us today, welcome. It's an important session today. I love sessions like this. I'm going to be doing a kind of what I call a behind the scenes interview, right? Like a case study. Think of it like the Wizard of Oz. I'm pulling back the curtain, and you're going to meet one of my former clients, Julie. And we're going to talk about how she ended up making the corporate to coach transition. She's very successful now. I was mentioning she's had a $30,000 month. She has multiple months where she's hitting her financial milestones. But what I was saying before I hit record is we were chatting before we went live here, and I was just asking her, the first thing is, are you happy? How are things? Are you happy? And that's the most important thing, right? It's not just about, hitting the money. It's, are you enjoying the journey? And, happy to hear Julie say that yes, it's been an incredible journey. And that doesn't mean that, as you move on in the journey, all of a sudden everything gets easy, right? Like Julie was saying, you get to a $30,000 a month kind of thing. It's a new set of challenges, right? That's why you kind of got to keep up with the trajectory of where you're at and the challenges that you're sitting with at that time. But very important to me to hear that Julie's doing happy and well. So we are going to interview her today, and I encourage you all to, those of you that are here live, to drop any questions you have for Julie into the chat. And those of you that watch the replay, either in YouTube or in the, you get the email from me with the replay, or you're in my Facebook of 3,000 coaches. When you're watching this replay, ask the question underneath the video, and we can circle back and I can chat with Julie, and if it's something that's related to Julie here. So you want to make sure, what I was saying is one of the most important things is that you guys get in the rooms with the right people. It's not enough just to hear a talking head, me telling you, do this, do that, do this. It's really important to be surrounded by coaches who are hitting their goals and their milestones, and they're sharing with you, right, what that journey looked like. So really, really important. So take some notes here. If you have any notes left, if you have any space left on your workbook, you may or may not, you may have to move to the back of the workbook at this point, but Julie will definitely be sharing some nuggets here. Maybe you can use page 13 if you didn't fill out all of page 13 when we interviewed Kristen. Julie, it'll be interesting for you guys to hear two different vantage points on two different journeys. So we're going to pull up Julie here in a moment. Real quick reminder, want to say congratulations to everybody who's watching live and everybody who's watching the replay, who's booked a discovery call with us. We're so excited to connect with each of you, for you to learn more about us, for us to learn more about you, your business goals, answer any challenges and questions you have for us. The discovery call is a no pressure exploratory call, so we can meet kind of like a first date, right? You get to learn more about the Corporate to Six-Figure Coach Academy. We get to learn more about you and see, are we a fit? And then from there, right, if it makes sense, review package and pricing options, because there are a variety of options. As a reminder, before I get wild here and start throwing out questions at the lovely Coach Julie, are the bonus bundle. I had to remind you guys of this before we get going. You have until tomorrow. So tomorrow is day 9 and the final day of the workshop. Tomorrow is the final day of the workshop. Tomorrow at midnight is when we pull all the trainings down, we pull all the replays down. And tomorrow at midnight, that's when you have to either book your discovery call. So if you haven't booked a call yet, you have until tomorrow at midnight. If you've already booked your call and you've had a chat and you've gone through pricing and package options, well, then you have Tuesday till midnight to decide, right, if you want to get this bonus bundle by submitting your first payment. And we do monthly installments, right? So it's 1,000 off monthly installments or 3,000 off paid in full. First 5 humans to get accepted and join our academy receive 2 private 60-minute deep dive strategy sessions. One is with me. I love doing these with my new coaches in the academy, so we can get, really, I really want to align with you on where you're at in your business, build out a comprehensive and customized strategy for you to hit your milestones. And you're going to leave that session with a complete blueprint of where to focus first to hit whatever your financial milestones, or just in general. Maybe you're like, Betty, I want to get my website out. Betty, I want to do my first launch. Whatever that looks like, you're going to have a blueprint for that. You're also going to have a private 60-minute deep dive training session with our social selling expert. I told you guys, write down that phrase, social selling. If you don't know how to social sell, 2024 is going to be a rough one. It's really important. That is the trend we are moving towards. Less of this kind of automated, going right into somebody's DMs and talking about book a call, book a call, book a call. We're moving away from that. And now it's more authentic, which feels better, by the way, right? It's building relationships with other people. It's providing value to other people. And then when the timing is right, then, right, yes, you hop on a call with them. But you got to learn how to do that. And the cool thing is the social seller will customize your outreach script for your niche. Valued at 600, valued at 1,500. We also, bonus 3, will do a social media profile audit. Why are we doing that? Because you need to optimize your social media profile in order to attract more clients. Very important, valued at 500. Bonus 4, coach in your pocket. Think of an itty bitty me that you just stick in your pocket, and anytime you need help, it's like a walkie-talkie app. Betty, I have a question. Betty, I need help. And I'm there to answer any and all of your questions for the first 30 days. The last thing I want is for you to join a coaching program and feel lost. There is no worse. I've joined programs like that before, and it doesn't feel good. So I intentionally created the opposite in this bonus package. And last but not least, if you pay in full, you get a ticket to a virtual half-a-day live cash injection workshop for a fast ROI valued at $1,000. So this is $8,600 worth of bonuses, but you got to book your discovery call. Hey, April, what's going on? Or wait, I'm sorry. Let me look here. I'm breezing through Tabitha's chat. Angie, what's going on? And I'm probably pronouncing this wrong. Angie or Angie, one of the two hopefully is correct. Option 1 or 2. You let me know. I don't want to say your name wrong, but welcome. Thank you for joining us. Tabitha dropped 2 links in the chat. Please do book your discovery call. If you haven't booked it yet, now's the time. Book your call. Second link she dropped in the chat is to learn more about the Academy. All right, so really important. Click that link if you want to learn. We really tried to include anything there was to know about the Academy in that link. But, you're going to have questions still. You're going to look at that and you're probably still going to have questions. That's normal. And that's the point of the discovery call, is to continue on, ask the questions that you have. It's pronounced Angie. I got it right the first time. Darn it. Lisa, I think I'm a social seller because just direct messaging people I do not know I balk at. Yeah, so Lisa, you probably are a natural at it, because if you're feeling the ick doing it the other way, then this is good news, right? We're able to kind of jump in with you and kind of take you down. Here's what the other important thing too. I just want to say this quick before I bring Julie on here. I've seen this as a challenge too out there, not necessarily for you, Lisa, but just in general. Because there's 2 ends of the spectrum with social selling. There's one end of the spectrum of the people that are like, oh no, I automated my outreach, or it's generic cookie cutter and I just get right to the point, book a call. That's not social selling, right? Then there's the other end where people will go on and they'll talk and they'll talk and they'll nurture in a coffee chat and a chit chat and a connect call, and it goes on. And there's got to come a point when it's like, listen, right? You've provided, and here's the question, write this down too. You want to ask yourself this question: have I provided the human being that I've been talking to online enough value to earn the right to ask them to book a discovery call. And that's a whole nother training, which, we can get into separately. And then that's good, Lisa. So you're in a good spot. That's good. And the last step would be then just customizing that social selling to your respective niche. So I love that topic. I could go very far with that topic. I just need people. Yeah. You and I need to do a little bit of DMing, because from what you shared the other night, Lisa, I promise you they're there. We just have to infiltrate. They're there. I know they are from what you shared. So you and I will chat. We'll chat outside of this. Outside of tonight's call. All right, so let's get into it. You guys saw the links there. We can't wait to help y'all cross the bridge from corporate to coach, not only to stand up a six-figure coaching business, but to achieve all the things that matter most to you and having the freedom of running your own business. All right, so if you have any questions, concerns, curiosities about the Academy, DM me. DM your concierge, book the discovery call, right? That's what we are here for. Final reminder on the last training session, the last bonus session. It's tomorrow. It's a good one. It's 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Tuesday, tomorrow, May 21st, the last day of the boot camp. And we're going to be talking all about mindset. So we're going to be talking about how to master the mindset to transition from corporate to coach. So if you're in that headspace where it's like, I'm afraid of failure, I am afraid I'm not going to make enough money, I'm afraid to invest in myself, I'm afraid to invest in my business, I'm afraid to charge fill in the blank for my coaching package. What if nobody buys my package, right? There's all these little things in our head. Even if you've attended one of my mindset sessions before, these are always for a good little light of fire underneath you. So definitely make sure you attend our last session, which will be tomorrow, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Because I can give you the best blueprint in the world to build your coaching business. It ain't going to work without the mindset. All right. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce to you one of my favorite humans, former client, incredible, dynamic, caring, brilliant, Coach Julie Menden. Bring her on. Julie, what's up, Julie? How you doing?
I don't even know how to talk. Like that introduction is just too much. I'm like, how do I live up to that?
She's like, who are you speaking to? You. Oh, thank you for joining us so much. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. How was your day today, Julie Menden?
It was good. So something I do on Mondays now is I do a CEO Monday. I have a full-time assistant now. And so her and I meet at a coffee shop every Monday morning.
I love that so much. So she's in the area. She's local.
We really lucked out and I got a local assistant and it's been fantastic.
Wow. And now I'm just being nosy. And how long do you guys meet when you meet at the coffee shop for?
Well, let me just tell you that they started as an hour, then they were like 2 hours, and now it's kind of like we end up there for like 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Talking about things, projects, getting ready for the week. So
I love it.
Yeah. We get to enjoy all the different coffee shops.
I love that so much. And that's how you can tell you're in that 30K per month kind of vicinity is like, now I have an assistant. Now we have to I have a CEO day where we're prepping for the week and we're prepping our projects, right? Things change. Yeah. So it's good for you guys to hear the different kind of trajectories, the different places on the journey, and the different wins and challenges and things that work along the way, because you guys should have a full kind of encompassing knowledge of that. So I love that you're doing that now.
I just have to say this, Betty. I have to say this because it didn't hit me really until you were just talking about your program and you said like the corporate to six-figure. So I passed the six-figure mark now. And it's just so cool because I'm like, I went through your program. I was looking back. I went through it a couple years ago. I'm trying to think, like, it was 2021. I don't know exactly what months. Yeah. But I mean, I hit six figures last year and I think close to it the year before. And we're obviously
Amazing.
really,
Well
so I'm
past
like,
it.
I didn't really even think about that because when I went through your program, I was a
Yeah.
brand new like baby coach. And so it's cool to look back.
I love how this interview, I am like literally learning your updates as everybody else is too. That is so freaking cool. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do something where like I somehow bribe you guys to, when you hit that 6-figure mark, if it, like you got
I
to
should
reach
have
out to
budgeted you
me so I
sooner.
can. Yeah. Oh my, I'm so proud of you. I can't tell you. Well, let's jump into it. A lot of people watching, have started off in some kind of a full-time job. We obviously, the academy is the corporate, the 6-figure coach academy. So we do get a lot of people from corporate. We get some people that maybe aren't corporate, but they're in a full-time role. Can you just share for a hot minute with these guys, what did your role look like before you moved into coaching?
Yeah, so I did spend the majority of my time in corporate. I worked for I spent about 6 years in a large Fortune 500 company, so a really big retail organization. And I was working in training and development and leadership development. That's where like I started kind of getting introduced to coaching and looking into coaching, and then ended up leaving there. And then I spent about a year and a half working in public sector in training and development. And for me, that was kind of like my transition plan because I had signed up for a coaching program and kind of started building my business on the side while I was in that business. So yeah, the majority of my background was in, working in corporate and doing a lot of the things that I do now, but obviously in a, bigger organization.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, I just kind of like to pull out some of the key golden nuggets as you're kind of going along here in your journey for these guys to notate here. So I think, yeah, one thing is just interesting. It's not a prereq for being a coach, but I just happen to notice I do tend to see a lot of people from training and development, learning and development, HR, like that world, because it's kind of natural coaching, recruiters. So that's just interesting. For you guys, it's not like, oh, I'm not HR corporate, I can't be a it's just, I just think it's interesting. I just have a handful of clients that come from that world. But I think, again, just to be clear, I think I heard you say you were building your business on the side while you were at one of those roles, one of those last roles,
I
right?
was, yeah. So I
Okay.
left, I was working, in the big organization through a lot of different reasons. I decided to leave there and went into a position that I knew would kind of give me space
Yep.
to start to build up the business. And to be honest, that the intention was to be at that company for like 5-ish years while I built up my business, but I was there for a year and a half. And then I was like, nope, we're going to do this thing.
See ya. I love it. I love it. But again, I think something you said that's really important. I think sometimes people feel, well, I don't want to get into someone's head and say how someone feels, but I want to give you guys permission, or tell you to give yourselves permission, that everybody watching this live or the replay, it's okay to get a bridge job where you're like, I'm not going to be here forever, but yeah, I'm going to be at this line of work while I'm funding building my business. I got a bridge job. Julie got a bridge job. Bridge jobs are cool. Okay. There's nothing wrong. It's a good idea to not put all your eggs into, oh, let me just build the coaching business and, I got to get a client or I can't pay my mortgage or my rent. Like that feels stressful. So there's nothing wrong with a good bridge job, number one. And number two, it's really important to start to build if you're watching this and you're at a job already, you're at some full-time job, it's really important while you're at the job you're at to start building the business. Please don't wait. Don't wait until you're so sick of the place that you want to walk out. Don't wait until you get laid off or fired. Don't wait until you're burnt out. Start building your business now. Yeah, Lisa, good for you applying for work. And listen, I have gotten laid off. I have gotten let go. All of these things were happening while I was trying to build my business. And I went and got a bridge job. So you're doing all the things, Lisa. You're doing the right things. You don't want to be in that stressed out place, right? So it's good that you're applying for work so that you're feeling comfortable. None of you guys should have to feel that like heavy heavy burden of putting all the eggs into one basket. So building your business on the side while you're at your current line of work, smart. Talk to these guys, our live watchers and our replay watchers, about your current coaching title and niche.
Yeah. So this is where I don't know who you've all talked to that have gone through your program. This is where I might I might provide a different perspective. So I really go as CEO and founder of a boutique coaching and training firm, because from the time I started building my business, I do coaching and I offer programs and one-on-one, but a huge part of my business is speaking and leadership development. Yeah. So as I was kind of building, I mean, I started really creating my coaching program, which without that, I literally would not be where I am now. But speaking was like a really big, for me, piece of my business from the get-go. And so, and as I continue to grow my business and we bring more people on, so I really go as CEO and founder of a boutique coaching and training firm. And then I kind of talk about the pillars that I have. So I'm like, I have keynote speaking and leadership development workshops. I do one-on-one executive and group coaching. And then I also have a branch over here, because I like variety, where I help entrepreneurs and small business owners use speaking to grow their business. So I kind of have
perfect for you.
Yeah.
Perfect for you. Yeah. So again, just some golden nuggets, and you guys feel free to drop in any questions you have for Julie. Here's what's cool. The business is yours. So I'm speaking to you guys, like people, everybody watching, whether it's the replay or live, it's your baby, right? So you're going to learn all of these things, but at the end of the day, I always tell this to my clients, you're the boss. You know, I'm telling you this, that, or the other, but you're the boss. So, you know, Julie knew about herself. I love speaking. I know I want to incorporate that into my business. Leadership development is something that I did in my past life. I want to incorporate that in. And coaching is also a piece of that as well. Something I like to joke around with my clients, I say I'm a coach consultant, because a lot of business related stuff is consulting. I'm making recommendations, I'm providing templates, but I'm also coaching, because there's so much mindset that goes into everything we're doing. So in a sense, I mean, not necessarily, you know, you're calling yourself the CEO and founder of XYZ, but you're kind of a coach consultant too. You know, there are times when the client's all up here and we got to go coach. And then there's times where it's like, okay, let me lay out for you my pillars and the way we do things and what works and what doesn't work. And then we move into consulting mode. Is that right?
Yeah, I still like love that term. I remember you saying that when I went through the program. I'm like, that's like the perfect way to describe it.
Yeah, that's you. And then, yeah, you are a speaker extraordinaire. And the cool thing about speaking, I love building and again, what in mod 4 of the Academy, it's all about building a client attraction system. And it's not the same for everybody. Some people are going to say, I'm not speaking. I'm not getting up there. I'm not, and that's okay. We build your client attraction system another way. For Julie, she's like, I love it. Bring it. So that's a part of her machine. That's a part of her system. So not only does she get to do something she loves, get paid for it, it also becomes, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, an organic sales funnel. Because now you're getting up there, you're doing your thing, you're talking, and then afterwards people are like, how do I work with you? Does that sound right?
Yeah, that's my number one business driver.
Yeah. And then of course I see you on LinkedIn on video, you know, which is just another form of speaking from the office. So it's been really cool to see you utilize that particular client attraction system in these different organic funnels. And again, for those of you watching, you don't have to be a speaker. But what's cool about attracting clients is you get to see kind of hey, here's a list of things. And then we pick and choose the ones that are going to matter the most to you, feel authentic to you, feel good to you, and put it into a system. You know, Julie, correct me if I'm wrong, you know, you don't seem like the type that is waking up on a Thursday like, what do I do today to get a client? Like, you have a system. Is that right?
Yes, now I do. Yes.
Now, yeah. Nobody does in the beginning.
I was there, so I get it.
Yeah, nobody does until they learn it. What inspired you to leave the Fortune 500 world and become a coach? Because again, that's this, the scary part for a lot of people. Like, can I do it? Can I really make this leap? What was it for you? What was that fire beneath you that drove you to become a coach?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, it was kind of a few things that were happening. Like at the time, I wasn't feeling aligned to the work I was doing in corporate anymore. I loved that company. I loved the companies I worked for. I thought I'd be there forever. And then, kind of just, I always tell when I left, I just had this feeling where I was like, oh, there's something else. Like there's something else. And I had gotten like a taste of coaching because we would bring in coaches and companies to work with our executives. And I
Yes.
had a boss who was a coach, and I got like this taste of what it was like to be a coach. I was like, oh my gosh, I could have so much impact. And then for me, I got really clear on what my values were, like my own values, which was flexibility, which was freedom, which was impact. And when I saw, like, first of all, how much I loved coaching and then what it could do for me. And at the time I had a young kiddo. I think, let's see, my
Yeah.
son Sawyer was like 2.5 at the time when I really started going into coaching. That was really the push where it was like, I can have flexibility. I can kind of have the say and I can have more of the impact doing the things that I want to do.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, so some more golden nuggets. So again, just keep me honest here, Julie. So it started off with, okay, I'm in my Fortune 500 job. I'm sure you were, I mean, I know you're very humble, so you're probably going to be like, who, me? But I tend to attract, you're like an ideal client avatar for me. You're like a type A superstar. You get things done. People look to you, at the Fortune 500, like, oh, Julie, give it to Julie, right? But you're something in the heart and the soul, some in the mind, something up here was like, something's missing. Like, yeah, I look successful on paper, but something feels off. Something is missing here. Whether it's fulfillment or like, is this it? Is
Yeah,
this it here?
that's exact. I always tell people I was this go-getter. I had a new position every single year for 6 years. So I
Wow.
climbed the ladder.
Yeah.
We kind of joked every spring. I was like, I
Yes.
want more. I want more. Well, it's because I was looking for something that I wasn't finding there.
Yes. Exactly. Exactly.
Mhm.
So then, and I think Kristen said something similar. I don't know if it was Kristen. Somebody else said something. I interviewed Kristen on Friday. Yeah, oftentimes I hear that coaches will run into a coach to some capacity in their line of work, in their Fortune 500, and they're like, that's a thing?
Mhm.
That's a thing? You can do that? You can help people hit their goals and achieve things? And wow, right? And then it has this impression on you. And then it's like, I'd love to give that impression I'd love to help others in that way,
Mhm.
right? I mean,
Yeah.
shoot, when I was in corporate, I guess I should be embarrassed to say, I didn't know much about coaching at all. I didn't know much about coaching at all
Most
until I
people don't.
started, right. Until I started taking all these career assessments to figure out, because I had that there's something missing. I didn't know what it was. I took all these career assessments and they all pointed me to coach, coach, coach. I was like, oh, what is this? And then again, if you guys haven't written something like this down, she talked about values. So everybody here should really get a grasp on, and you are your business, you are your brand. So it's not, you don't have to go so far yet of like company values. What are
Mhm.
your values? So Julie started recognize, wait a second here. She's like, I want flexibility, right? I have a son now. I want to be able to spend more time with my son. I want to have the freedom, if time freedom, freedom of location, freedom of focus. And I want to make an impact in a way that feels good to me. And then, like she said, her family, her son, that was kind of the final push, that is like that's when I talked to you guys about reaching a fork in the road where it's like there comes a point where it's like I got to choose. And Julie's like, not that if you continued in corporate you're not choosing your son, and that's not what I'm saying,
Mhm.
but you saw this path where you'd have more flexibility to create a schedule around what mattered most to you. Does that sound right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. That. Talk to us about, so this workshop, new topic, never done this topic before, was about client acquisition. And we talked about client acquisition, just the kind of tippy tip, right? Because it was a week-long workshop. If you can remember in the program, Mod 4, and I've added to it since you've left, it's pretty meaty. There's a lot of different ways to attract clients, and then we simplify it into a system. So again, for you, you've done some amazing things. You 30K month, you've had multiple months of achieving your financial goals. You surpassed the six-figure mark multiple years in a row at this point. Talk to us about, we want to hear a bit about what worked, and maybe specifically even when you think about the Corporate to Six-Figure Coach Academy, mods 1, niche, competitors, positioning, messaging, mod 2 with the package, the pricing, the value, mod 3, the launch, mod 4, client attraction, mod 5, sales. What, like, these guys, I'm sure, well, I don't want to put these ideas in like, this is what they're thinking, but if I was watching, I'd be wondering, well, how'd she do it? So what were the specific pieces of maybe working with me or the academy that you're like, this really got the ball rolling?
Yeah, I mean, I would say like the first thing, Betty, is, and I'm genuinely not just saying this because I'm on this call. I really, you can ask my assistant. I really do tell everybody this. Like, if I hadn't gone through this program, I wouldn't be where I am. I honestly, for everyone listening, I swear Betty didn't ask me to say that. But it was because I went through, and you learn how to become a coach. I went through a really robust, I went through the same program Betty went through. I
Yeah.
went through IPEC. I'm sure there's
IPAC.
other
Yeah.
IPEC fellow coaches. So I invested in a really great coaching program, came out, and I felt really confident as a coach. And they gave you like a little bit, excuse me, of business building tips in that program, but not a lot. And I knew nothing about building business. I had never in my mind ever thought I was going to run a business. I was like, you work for a company, you work really hard, you climb the ladder, you stay there forever. So this was like a complete pivot for me. And so after I got certified, and even after I honestly left that business, my company, I still didn't really know how to build a business. I'm like, I'm a really good coach. Why don't people want to work with me? Like, let me just use all these fluff words in my social media about how I can help and lighten people's lives and all these things that we're all guilty of doing as coaches. And so I'm pretty sure, Betty, like I should have even looked back at more of our history, but I know I followed you for a long time. I followed you for a
Yeah.
while. I
Yeah.
followed your content. I would comment on things, I would join things. I think we even had a conversation once, and then I was like, oh, I don't know. And then
Yeah.
I came back around.
Yeah.
Came back around, went through. And so I'm trying to think of like what the most beneficial things were, because honestly, I think the whole structure for me was helpful because I just really didn't even know where to get
Where to
started.
start.
Even, like, I'm just thinking of even like the people you recommended for website that like helped me with my website. Like I tried to really follow it. I mean, I think the most basic thing was just probably the first part was like creating that signature program, because that was where I really felt like I was struggling in my messaging in terms of like, we were like, oh, we can help everybody. And I know you and I had a lot of conversations on that, because I am somebody who does not like to really niche
I
in.
know so many people, so
I
many
push
people.
back
Yeah.
so much. And obviously I still haven't fully, but for my first program, I totally tried to, I did. And when I didn't do it, you're like talking to nobody. So that was something that, like, I'll be honest, I had so much resistance on, and it took me a while. But
Normal.
once I did that, like, so creating that signature program and like how to create the modules, um, that was, and I still use all of that because I created my original program. And then
That's
2 years
cool.
ago, when I created my speaker academy, helping people with speaking, I used the same like framework that you had taught me originally. So that is a really important one, was like, how do you create this high ticket coaching program? You said it before too, but the other thing is like the client attraction strategies. So, and I know you've added so much more even, but when I went through, like, I felt like that was just so helpful of like, how do you not just like randomly message people, but actually create a
Yes.
strategy? So boot camps and master classes, again, still something I do today. I do, and now that I have an assistant, we sit down with this like huge
Yay,
calendar in my
I love
office,
it.
and we like map it out. So that's a huge one. And then the other one is like your scripts, your discovery call scripts. I still use like that whole framework today still as well. That gave me so much
Cool.
confidence getting on calls with people. And I still like every time I get in it, well, I'm a lot more comfortable in it now.
Yeah.
Every time
The
I'm
more
like, okay,
comfortable, the more you can deviate a little bit, right? Because you're
yeah,
like, but the script, it's like it's the kickstart. Otherwise, you're like, oh, we all are.
yeah.
Super help. Okay, so again, I'm pulling out the nuggets because these guys are taking notes here. So again, Julie's one of those gals. It's not like she comes from this background where she's like, yeah, I was an entrepreneur for 20 years. She never was. She was a high performing corporate employee. And this to her was something wildly different. So let's start there. So for the
Mhm.
people that are like, whoa, this is something so new to me, yeah, that's the normal thing, right? And now look, did you ever, I'm just quick deviation, did you ever dream when you were first working into like building your coaching business that you'd be as successful as you are now? Did it even, if the future Julie came back and said, hey girl, you're gonna have a $30,000 month and you're gonna surpass six figures for multiple years in a row, would you have even believed it?
The funny thing is I don't, it's hard to answer because I hoped for it, and I always have this really deep trust in myself to where I always just kind of believed it was going to work out, but it felt so far off that I couldn't really see it. Like I was like, I know I'm going to do this, but
Yes.
it was really hard to fathom what it would, like what the how would be. But this thing, I didn't need to know the how. I just needed to know the why, and then I needed to work with people like you to give me the
Who know
how.
the how? Yeah.
Yeah.
I love what you said there. So yeah, it felt so far off and you couldn't see it, but you believed in yourself. You believed in there's some analogy out there about something about like it's like driving a car at night. And when you drive a car at night, your headlights just show you X amount of feet in front of you. So even though like I'm driving from Florida to Massachusetts, that that's the direction. You've got the GPS, but you don't know where you're going to turn and this and that. You just can see what your highlights are showing you. So it's just taking the next right step. And like Julie said, she anchored to the why. You don't have to worry about the how. That's my job. That's my job over here. Right. So again, working with someone who did the thing that you wanted to do, who could hold your hand and walk you through the how. And yeah, I see this a lot. So you said this too, Julie. You said, so what the heck's going on here in the beginning, right? I'm this great coach, and you are. And it's like, why does it with me? Where are all the people? And what's so wild? I see that time and time again. Sometimes the most amazing coaches are the ones that struggle to get clients because of the fact that they're amazing coaches. They're not marketers. They're
Mhm.
not, they're here to coach. So even more important that those amazing coaches partner with somebody that's like, yeah, I did that thing. I've got that blueprint. So you can get out and get visible. What else did you say? Yeah, the social media, fluff words, coachy, abundance. Like, and this isn't just like I see it everywhere all the time. It doesn't hit home with the niche. They want to hear you talking about their pain, their problem, their dreams, their outcomes as they speak about it to each other. So yeah, when you flip that switch, all of a sudden the popcorn started to pop in the microwave. Absolutely. The structure piece of it that you talked about, Julie. Yeah, I will say that's one thing about me and my program. You either love it or you don't love it. And that's good, right? I want to attract the people that want the
Mhm.
structure and yeah, probably repel the people that don't want the structure because I'm a structured person. Uh, Greg says, "What's Julie's niche?" Can you repeat your niche for Greg, Julie?
This is where I'm like hiding my, because I don't, this is where I'm different. I don't necessarily have any, I work a lot with corporate organizations and leadership development. And so you don't really niche in that space other than I focus on helping leaders and organizations increase their influence. So
Yeah.
that's kind of, but again, I'm in a little bit different lane where I'm kind of at the expanding phase now of creating a firm. Versus when I started coaching, my niche was working with emerging leaders. So when I
Remember
very
that.
first became a coach and I was working in Betty's program, my very first program that I created was targeted at emerging leaders. And then
Remember
for
that.
me, as I was in the business for longer and we decided to turn it into more of a firm, it expanded into other offerings.
Yeah. And that's a good point too. Couple things. One, it's the trajectory of the business, right? Where you're at now, where I'm at now, it'd be kind of wild to come out the gate, right? Like you got to start somewhere. I always say with career coaching, where I started, I switched my niche. I don't regret it. That's what got me to six figures my first couple of years. It's just this ended up being the niche that I'm better at, that I enjoyed more. The second part of it too, even with leadership development, you were talking about, Julie, the signature methodology piece, which we talk about in mod 2 of the academy, and kind of putting together, these are the different pieces that I'm going to teach somebody as it pertains to leadership and impact and all the things that go hand in hand with leadership. So that signature methodology piece, Kristen was talking about this the other day too. That just having that gives confidence, because you feel like I got a plan, I got a game plan, and I can talk to somebody about it. And I will say this to everybody too. And Julie's niche is she's a leadership coach, right? And she's helping these leaders, with impact and all these other things. But here's something important for all of you to know when you're working with executives. This is very important. No matter what the niche is, the biggest urgent problem that you solve, like what would you say, Julie, when you're coaching with leaders, is the biggest urgent problem that you see currently when you're working with leaders?
Right now, from an organizational standpoint, when I'm working, so I started with emerging leaders and now I'm working with executives, it's
Yes.
communication in terms of their team dynamics. But from an organization perspective, it's retention and engagement of talent in the organization. So
There
that's
it is.
a really hot topic right now. When I talk to organizations and I talk to leaders, those are the words they're telling me are retention, engagement. We need our leaders to be able to have executive presence and communicate. So those keywords is
Right.
essentially what I use in my marketing as well.
So that right there is that's her niche. That's her niche, George. But here, or I'm sorry, George. George is my other client. Greg. Too many G's. Greg, that's her niche. But here's the thing with executives, anybody working with executives, all of you are going to be customizing your signature method and your program to the executive. No executive out there wants just a cookie cutter thing. So that is part of the discovery call script that Julie is mentioning, where you're telling them, look, we're customizing. This is my method. We're going to cover communication, retention and engagement, executive presence. But based on what you told me, executive, we're going to focus here, here, and here. So that's part of the discovery call script, right? And again, like Julie was saying, the discovery call script is another thing. This is bringing me back to my interview with Kristen on Friday, that builds confidence. Having a signature method, having a discovery call script, that is the thing that gives you the confidence. And then, of course, all of us want to customize our method. It's not cookie cutter. We're not building a digital course that we're flipping out for 2K, right? We're building an elevated, like Julie was saying, she's selling higher ticket coaching programs. She's not getting to 30K by selling 25 coaching packages. She's elevated, right? But that's going to include having that confidence with her method, her discovery call script, and then listening to what her people are saying is their problem. And as she's talking through what the experience is going to look like, she's customizing that method to them. And honestly, same way I do, whether I work with people in a group or one-on-one. Yeah, I have an on-demand learning center and a signature method, the 5 C's. Every client call is wildly different. It's impossible to, nor would any of us want to be robotic. That's a digital course. That's not the same level of transformational change as coaching or coach-sulting would be. So yeah, so I'm just, again, looking at your notes, client attraction system. Yeah, the difference between randomly messaging people and creating a system out of it. Metrics. I was telling these guys the other day, maybe it was Greg that asked about metrics with something else. There's a lot of metrics involved with social selling. where you have to understand this is how many people I have to connect to per day. This is how many people I have to send an initial outreach message to. This is how much nurturing I have to do. These are how many calls I need booked per month. This is the percentage of my closing rate. Like, you have to know all those metrics or you're just throwing spaghetti at the wall. So I love how you brought that up, Julie, and that you're launching now. And when I say launching, she's doing master classes or boot camps, and all that is providing value. And then she has a group of clients who then, gather in at the same time. So well done, Julie, on all of those things. And what did, when you started working with us, because I know a lot of people are thinking, okay, I know I need help. I got the why. I need some help on the how. I don't want to waste time and money throwing spaghetti at the wall. What was it about working with me, with us, that appealed to you? Because there's other options. How do people make that choice? How'd you make the choice?
Yeah, well, I think it definitely helps. I don't love like just fluff. I really like that Betty and you and your program
Yep.
was genuinely helpful. It wasn't just fluff. And so I think that was a big thing. And I knew that because again, I had been following you for a long time. And I really felt like I knew you through your content, like the same thing you teach us, like through your content, through having had calls with you. It was just like, I knew that you weren't just like blowing smoke, that you actually had done it, that you can clearly see all like the other clients that you had helped as well and what they were able to do. Obviously exactly what you like taught to us, but like I could see, on your website and your copy about your signature program. And it was like, okay, my light is flashing. If you could see, it looks like I'm in like a strobe light right now. Like I think my light is
Oh,
like
I
breaking
do
out.
see that, but only after you called it out.
So if you see that, it's driving me nuts. I'm like, I'm not having a disco party over here. My light is just like freaking out. I think like through your website, your copy and what you talked about, like actually having the pieces where it was like, oh yes, I need that. Oh yes, I need that. Whereas I
Yes.
feel like some others who I had been following, it wasn't as clear of what they were going to help me with. And
Which is
so
kind
that's
of scary. It's kind of risky. You're like,
yeah.
what am I getting into with this person?
Right. Like, do they actually, am I going to walk out of here being able to do things? And then I think the other thing was that, I think we probably talked about this because I ask a lot of questions before I make an investment, and I've made a
Yeah.
lot of
Yes.
investments in my business now. But was like, am I going to learn all of this? Which is a question I actually get from clients now is like, are we going to learn all this and then I implement? It's like, no, we want to be like implementing while we're going through it. So that's what I really appreciated too, was like in the group calls and stuff that we had where we had learning. We also had opportunities to get hot seat coaching, ask questions, and we were actually doing these things while going through the program.
Yeah, that's a good point. I've actually I haven't talked about that with anyone else yet in interviews. So that is a good point. I never thought about that. That's true. Some business coaches don't teach that way. Yeah, I definitely see a lot of programs that shove information at you and are like, good luck. And you're like, wait, I just watched 3 training videos on this topic. I attended 2 live videos on this topic. What am I implementing here?
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, absolutely. And the success coaches that we have now too, shoot, I probably take you behind the scenes at some point, Julie, and be like, look at all this stuff we added. We have these 30-day templates, these milestone templates. So people are keeping on track with their 30-day goals.
Oh, that's
Right.
awesome.
Otherwise, it's like building a business. You're like, where am I? Where do I start? Right. What's my milestone? Tell us, so you talked about what some of the valuable things about the program. What about some of your favorite things about the Academy? Just some of your favorite things about working with us.
Let's see. Favorite things. I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is the calls. I just felt like the calls were really valuable I loved your approach, and it might be different now, but I'm thinking it's probably pretty similar where you would like
Pretty
train on the
similar.
topic. Yeah, you would train on the topic,
Yep.
and kind of
Same.
go through the training, and then there'd be opportunities for like the hot seat coaching and questions. Like I really liked that
Yep.
style. I actually adopted that style for programs that I ran too.
Cool.
So that I really liked because even though you've got your portal, which I watched every single module and like went through the things, it
Star.
still was nice to see you go through it. And then I also think when it was the group calls, sometimes I didn't know what to ask. And this is the value of when you're with other people too, is people would ask questions that I was like, oh, I didn't even realize I had that question. Um, and I really felt like even in like the group that I got a lot of that personalized support because, there wasn't like I had 100 people on the call. So there was opportunities to like really get that support from you. That was probably my favorite thing.
Yeah.
Um, Personally. And then, when I think about like what was my favorite that outside of the calls, honestly, I feel like it was like the step by step, like templates, like again, like kind of the discovery call script or like the worksheets where it was like, you have to figure out so many things when you're running a business and you have to be in such a creative space all the time that sometimes your brain is like, can you just like can you just tell
Yes.
me what to say here? And yes, I
That's when
can
the
modify
consultant
it.
steps in and says,
Yes.
here. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I'll
Yeah.
modify it to like if there's a word that I want to change, but like, could you just tell me? And I appreciated that.
Yeah, it's a different business coaching is a different and leadership coaching is a little bit of a different vibe sometimes than straight up coaching. So yeah, we run the calls the same way. To your point, we do the training and then the hot seat so we can deep dive. And we do some of our calls as workshops now where, I'll hit mute and we'll work and then we'll share. I think to your point, it's so true. It's so important to be in the right rooms with the right people who are asking questions that you're like, dang, that's a good question. You're learning from the people around you. And I do still keep it intimate with the group. I have a handful of one-on-ones that I work with, and the group is intimate. Like I'm telling you guys, I don't have like 100 people in my group. I don't even have 50 people in my group. I go through my groups and I answer every single person's call or every single person's question, hot seat, before I get off the call. I don't want a group so big that I'm like, wait, who are my clients? Who's this person? Like, that's not the vibe I want for you guys or for me. And then yeah, to your point, reinventing the wheel is a waste of time and energy when it comes to template scripts, the stuff that works. It's like here, and then you customize it, and then your coach walks you through the customization. Um, let's end off on two questions here. One, any advice for people that, if you can kind of remember this moment for yourself when you were first kind of starting your investing in yourself and your coaching
Mhm.
business, any advice for people on the fence, not sure if they should join the Corp to Six Figure Coach Academy? Maybe they're just scared to make an investment in themselves, in their business. Think back to when you were kind of in that moment. Any advice?
Yeah, I mean, and I know I said this at the start of the call, but it's genuinely true. Like that was other than having invested in getting certified as a coach,
Yep.
your program was my first investment. And I remember just being like, oh my gosh, I just got done paying for my coaching program. Like I never invested in myself in that type of way. And I can be very indecisive with decisions. So I had to get all the information and all the things. But honestly, again, like I said at the beginning, if I hadn't have done it, I wouldn't be here now because it taught me a couple things. First of all, it taught me to trust myself. Like I said, I always go back to like when it was time to leave corporate, I was like, all right, I feel like the right time. And like the program too. I mean, there's other people that I talked to that I was like, no, this just doesn't feel aligned. So for me, it was like coming back. So whenever I'm making that decision, it's like you just got to feel like if it's aligned and trust your decision in that. And then also it ultimately just depends on like where you want to go. I don't think we ever can grow in an area without any type of support. So if it's like that building a coaching business is what you want to do, you can't expect yourself to know all of these pieces because you've never done it before. And so if you're
Yeah.
not going to get the help, for me, it was like I could keep struggling and try and figure it out and take a couple extra years, or I could figure it out. So for me, I guess the advice would just be like, have the conversation, see if it feels aligned. Um,
Ask the questions.
Ask the questions, obviously talking to other people who went through it. I will say that I think a couple people after I went through the program had like messaged me on LinkedIn because I would share about Betty. And they were like, hey, how was the program for you? So you can always reach out to people that Betty has on and they can tell you how the program was. And then just think about where you want to be. And knowing that my belief is that you're going to make the investment in the program, and the idea is that it pays off for itself when you start getting clients. And that has been my experience.
Awesome. I love that so much. And so, yeah, but before we end it with where people can reach you, refer to you, work with you, I want to just, again, the golden nuggets that you're sharing here. Ag- Julie's telling you guys, this was her first business investment after getting certified. That, I mean, and I'm complimented by that, because that's a big deal. This was her first business investment after getting certified. I too know how it feels to spend all this money on your certification, and then you're like, and now I gotta spend money to build the business. Like, it's a thing that you have to. But to Julie's point, you got to get to that point where you have trust in yourself. It's like, yes, you want to have trust in me and my program, but you really want to have trust in yourself, that if you show up and do the work, and I'm not going to sugarcoat things. Julie, Kristen, the people that you're talking to, these are people that did the work. Okay. These aren't people that showed up to a call and then ate bonbons and twiddled their thumbs in between calls. They're doing this stuff. So to Julie's point, ask questions. That's the point of the discovery call. She booked a call. I love questions. Ask questions. We'll answer your questions on the discovery call. This is meant to be your first major stepping stone until you go off into the world and make it how you want to be. And I think the last thing that you said, Julie, is, yeah, I could have taken a couple extra years and thrown spaghetti at the wall, but and that's the kind of thing you're deciding here is, do I, what is it? It's like, what's the form of pain you want to feel? The pain of trying something new, right? And investing in something new and investing in yourself, or the pain of going through a couple of years throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what works, right? That's an exchange. That's time and money, right? So you just kind of have to pick your pain. Greg asked, powerful endorsement, Julie. Thanks for sharing. P.S. Are most of your clients, Julie, the individuals that you're working with, or, and I'm thinking Greg means currently, or are you working with largely retained by the companies for whom they work? Where are you at currently? And maybe where were you at in the beginning?
Yeah. So in the beginning, I was largely hired. So obviously I did, like I said, in the beginning, I also did speaking. So right out of the gate, when I built my coaching program, I was booking speaking. That was obviously hired by either companies or associations were bringing me in to do speaking. When it came to the coaching piece of it, they were one-on-one clients that I was getting through referrals, through LinkedIn, through this, through learning stuff through the program. And it was individuals. It was usually leaders individually hiring me. Where I'm at now, it's
B2C. Mm-hmm.
yeah, B2C. Where I'm at now, it's really a blend for me of B2C and B2B.
Yep.
I still have individuals who hire me themselves. And that's either, again, executives, business owners, or entrepreneurs who want to do speaking. So that's that lane. But then I also obviously have the bucket where companies are hiring me either for leadership or for their clients. So I'll get on a call with the head of a company who wants to hire me to coach one of their executives. So I have a balance of like one-on-one clients paying me out of their pocket and companies paying me out of their budget.
Yeah. And thanks for sharing that, Julie. Before we let you go here, just to say too, to Greg, I have a lot of clients currently who will have a niche, right? And they slice it up. There's B2C, people that'll pay out of pocket, or people that will go to their company and say, hey, can you use some of the training and development budget for me to get this coach hired? And then they have a B2B organizations that hire them. So there is a way to have a niche and slice and dice, part B2B, part B2C. There's pros and cons to both. And it's nice to diversify like that. So Julie, before we go, how can people connect to you in case they want to follow your work, or in case they know of somebody who could use your services?
Yeah, I would say the two main places are LinkedIn is always a great place for me. Because I run in two different lanes. LinkedIn is where I really talk a lot about, I talk about my podcast on there. So I have a podcast, I've been in a book, all that kind of stuff now. So I talk a lot about that on LinkedIn. And so that's a great place. If you're on Instagram, Instagram is really where I talk about speaking and how I, grow my business using speaking. So Instagram and LinkedIn are kind of the two main ones. So I'd love to connect with anyone.
All right, Julie, you're the best. I'm going to stick around with these guys to kind of wrap up tonight's session, answer any remaining questions they might have and wrap up tonight. I appreciate you so darn much. I love you to death. I miss you. It made me smile the second I saw your face. I was like,
oh, it was so good to see you. Thank you so much for having me on.
okay, so you and I will be chatting outside of this. Stay in touch.
For
And
sure.
thank you for your time, Julie. I'll stick around with these guys for a couple more minutes.
All right. Bye.
Bye, Julie. Love that girl. I love my clients. I love them. What can I say? I don't want to brag, but they are cool people. They're good people. They're cool people. They're intelligent people. They're people you want to be in the room with. That is for sure. So Tabitha, drop the link once more before we hop off. You guys literally have just a little bit over 24 hours left to book a discovery call. Like, this is it. And if you've already had your discovery call, you have until midnight tomorrow to submit the first payment to join the program if you want to get the boot camp bonus bundle. Again, here is info about the academy. Just drop that little guy in there. And if you have any questions, that is the whole point of a discovery call. So I'm not going to go wild here, but I do want to remind you guys, the bonus bundle, what it includes: 8,600 worth of bonuses, 1,000 to 3,000 off. And this ends Tuesday at midnight. As it is gone. Prices will go back up. Bonuses will go away. So you've got to get your call booked by Tuesday. And if you've had your call, you've got to make your decision on moving forward with us by Tuesday. In order to get, if you want the bonus bundle. If you don't want the bonus bundle, then no. But I love a good bonus. 60-minute deep dive strategy session with me. I will give you an intake form so I know everything there has to know about you, what you want out of your business, where you're at, what you want to achieve. We're going to lay out a customized blueprint for you on a private 60-minute call. You'll have a private 60-minute deep dive training session with our social selling expert. Julie was telling you guys about how she's on LinkedIn doing social selling. That's another part. We didn't get into it too much, but she's killing the game in LinkedIn social selling. She's got a really great LinkedIn outreach presence. So that is incredibly valuable. We'll optimize your social media profile. That's, again, another thing with Julie. If you outreach to someone, they click on your profile and they're like, what is this person? It's gonna be a challenge. So we're gonna optimize your profile to get clients, 30-day Voxer access to me, coaching a pocket. You're not going to join this program and be like, where is Betty? You're going to have me for 30 days to ask questions, to get help. And if you pay in full, a half-a-day live cash injection workshop. So just a reminder of what the bootcamp bonus bundle is. Again, high level here for the people that are maybe even some joining us for the first time, catching the replay. The deliverables, the stuff. Are you hiring a business coach? You are. It's me. It's me. Right? I'm the business and marketing coach-sultant expert who will take you by the hand. And oh God, you guys, it's so cool to talk to clients that it's been a minute. I knew she was doing amazing. I knew she was having multiple, multiple 5-figure months. She's 30K months, but that she's having multiple 6-figure plus years. I just, and like I said, I asked, are you happy? And she's so happy, and it makes me so happy. Just one of my favorite things to do is to interview these guys. You will be assigned a success coach. They'll work with you privately. They will make sure that you are tracking. They will hold you accountable to implementation. They will be working with you to make sure you're hitting your 30-day milestones. You've got a copy coach. I think a lot of coaches tend to struggle with their copy for social media, their copy for their website. If your copy's off, you're not going to be seeing a lot of clients. I'm telling you, your copy has to resonate. So you're going to have a copy coach, a money mindset coach who's going to help you with the fear, the limiting the beliefs, all this stuff. And I know you guys know this. I'm preaching to the choir. Coaches, we know this stuff, but coaches need coaches. It's kind of hard to look in the mirror and be like, I'm going to coach myself, right? So I'm going to give you guys a powerful final session tomorrow, 4 p.m., 7 p.m. East, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern on mindset, mastering the mindset to transition from corporate to coach. But on a consistent basis in the academy, you will actually have a money mindset coach who's incredible when it comes to releasing money blocks. We'll assign you to a peer accountability pod, 4 to 6 members who are where you're at in the program. You'll meet with them to deepen your mastery of business concepts and hold each other accountable to implementing goals and sharing resources. And we are having an in-person event in Tampa. It's included in your membership. Yes, you've got to buy the airplane ticket out here. But the actual event itself that you're attending, where, you know, if you've ever seen some of those events that charge you like hundreds or thousands of dollars to attend an event, you are not doing that, right? You're attending this event is part of what's included in the package. I will be teaching at the event. You will be networking at the event with the fellow Academy members, and I'll be hot seat coaching you guys as well. The second thing is, once you sign up for the program, okay, you are going to get within 24 hours immediate access to the on-demand learning center. Every module, every lesson, every template, every script, boom. If you have a discovery call tomorrow, you'll be able to have access to all these scripts. If you opt in, and it's an option for you, your very own website build. And like I said, this is truly a website that converts. It's clean, it's crisp. There's a template to use with copy that will encourage your prospects to take action. So the website was built to convert to calls and to convert to emails downloaded. And then all the other stuff, like Julie was saying, she's like, oh, some of this stuff, I didn't want to reinvent the wheel. You don't have to. We create it and we give it to you. It's all in the On-Demand Learning Center. You can work with me one-on-one or in the group, and you do have unlimited access to me in between coaching sessions. I don't want you. I tell my clients this all the time because the most successful clients are the ones that do interact with me in between sessions. I like that. I want that. I crave that. It's important because it means you're doing the work in between sessions. So I hope this has been helpful for you guys today. Meet me back here tomorrow night for the last session. The last session tomorrow night, Tuesday, May 21st, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, how to master the mindset to transition from corporate to coach. I want you to bring, this is a safe space, bring your fears, bring your limiting beliefs, whatever it is, we're going to get it out there. We're going to purge it. We're going to look the monster in the face, and it's going to be a super powerful session to leave you with. If you are on the fence, please do book the call because like Julie said, and Julie is one of those people that ask a lot of questions. She does her research. She asks a lot of questions. And I love that because I'm one of those people. So if you have questions, bring them to the discovery call. All right, y'all, have a wonderful, wonderful night. Catch you tomorrow, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, or catch you in the Facebook group. I'll be in there playing, answering questions, or catch you on the discovery call. All right, guys, talk soon. DM me if you need anything. Bye, y'all.